Okay, hey you guys. Here is our last video of our kindergarten year homeschool curriculum review. We are just going to cover math in this video. The video before we did language arts and the video before that, our first video, I went over the rest of them, science through PE, and a lot of other important information that you need to go back and watch if you're new to homeschooling and it's your first year. All right, so for math, like I said in my previous video, we kind of pieced together our first half of the year, and the second half of the year I decided to have a solid curriculum to go forward with. For math, my son was going a lot faster than I expected, and I love math, but I'm not very patient. So I needed to find something that was going to be able to explain things in a very age-appropriate way to where I wasn't going to get frustrated because I didn't know how to explain what I knew, because it was so simple to me, but for a 5-year-old who doesn't understand the concept yet, how do I explain that to them? So we looked at a lot of different curriculums, and he did assessment tests for different ones, because make sure you take the assessment test for each curriculum that you're looking into, because they have different, they're at different levels. So what might be a kindergarten level for one is a first grade level for another curriculum. So for example, when we did the assessment test for Horizons, it said he should start first grade. Now this is the second book, and he hasn't started the second book of the level 1 math because he's not ready for it. It's really first grade work. But he was able to start the first half, and he did amazing in it. Really good. Started learning 10 sticks, those things, adding with number lines, and he really enjoyed it. It's super colorful. The pages are bright and colorful, and he would do one front and back page a day. And it was going really well. But then my daughter, who is 4, she was starting to grow out of all of the simple math stuff I had for her. And she's also a different learner than my son. He's a lot like me. We can pick things up quickly, and I don't have to re-explain. He has very quick memory. My daughter is a completely different learner, and that's okay. I just don't understand it because it's not me. It's more my husband's style. And I wanted to find a curriculum that fit her pace and explain things in a very easy to understand way for her that was also fun and interactive. And when I looked into the Good and the Beautiful for language arts, I decided to look into them for math. And they have a wonderful math program. We went ahead and bought it, and she's doing wonderful in it. She's already adding and subtracting, and she's only 4. They do games and stories in it every day. My son, seeing her doing her math, asked if he could join. Even though he understood the concepts already, he wanted to join in with her. And as we were going along, it's the first thing that they choose to do every day. They want to start with math, and I love that. And also it gets it out of the way for the day, and it starts us on the right foot because they're already in a great positive attitude because they're having fun with math. With the Good and the Beautiful math set comes a box full of manipulatives and everything you need for math. I shouldn't say everything. There's a couple of things that you might have to use outside of what comes in the box set, but it should be stuff that you have around your house. If it's something that you'll need, it will let you know ahead of time. Or at the beginning, it'll say, just your standard supplies that you'll need here. This one you just needed to have pennies that weren't included, obviously. So they have things like these pattern block pieces and charts, which they love to do. That is more of like a bonus activity that they have in the lessons. They'll say, have your child to do this independently, which is great because it gives them an independent thing to do while I'm focusing with the other kid on math or something like that. My daughter's already learning how to do and recognize 10 frames just from sight. So they have flashcards that go along with this for games that help them learn how to do 10 frames. or how to recognize what number that 10 frame is. They have different stories that go along with the 10 frame learning, so they have different themes on them, and manipulatives that go along with them. So with this one, it's a garden, so it comes with little gardening manipulatives that you put in. The bee one, the beehive one, comes with bees. And we also have wooden cubes, a counter. There's also little inchworm manipulatives for when they're learning how to measure inches. There are flashcards for shapes. They also have 3D shapes. And there are flashcards for numbers, and it goes all the way up to 20. And they even have an even and odds number cards because they're going to be learning even and odds. There's dice, a 6-sided dice and a 10-sided dice. They have toothpicks for tally mark, figuring out how to do tally marks. So, as I was doing this with my daughter, and my son wanted to join in, I was discovering that there was a lot of foundational things that my son kind of needed to learn. He knew it, but this book, the way they do the good and the beautiful math, it makes it such a deep root. The way they do it, it's really hard to explain, but the way they do things, it's setting a really strong foundation in math, where instead of just memorizing that my son was doing for these things, or it just wasn't very thorough. Yes, we learned these concepts and I could teach him them, but in this book, it teaches them in such a thorough way that it gives such a strong foundation to go on and do other math. So that's why I've been allowing him to do the math with her, even though, yeah, he already knows the different ways to make and take 5. The way that they're doing it, it's just making a firmer understanding of it. So he enjoys doing this anyways with her, so it's a bonus. So for him, he's doing 2 maths technically. He's doing the first book of the first grade math here. There's a point in there where we're going to have to stop because it's he's just not there yet, and I want to wait until we start first grade math for the good and the beautiful with him. So we've been going over with him while she's learning these things, and he doesn't have a problem with it because it's fun and engaging. Yeah, he can do it rather quickly. This is more her pace for the grade level, but he still really enjoys it, even though he's like, oh yeah, I know that really quick. He enjoys doing the game parts to it, and it's also setting those foundational things, like I said, that are going to prepare him for math for first grade. I just really love it. He's probably going to go continue through the summer to do this to get him ready for first grade for next year. Every day they have a daily dose of things that you do, like a morning start, doing calendar, and doing the place value chart. This is one of my favorite things because my 4-year-old, she's already understanding place values. There are 4 4s and 3 1s and 43. There are 4 10s and 3 1s and 43. So what they do is every lesson, they will add 1 more 1. So they'll color in the next one on this paper 10 stick. And so since it's not all the way full, she knows it goes in the 1's place. And then the full sticks go into the 10's place because 1 full one is a 10. There's 10 there, so it goes here. And so right now she has 4 of these. And so every day she'll write 4 and then how many 1s she has in 3. And then she'll say, oh, that's 43, Mom. And of course my son, he understands that concept too, but it's just blowing me away that my 4-year-old is doing that. And she doesn't even realize that she's learning this. It's just the foundational concept that's happening, and she just thinks it's something we do every day that's just fun. But it's not. I'm not necessarily teaching her it. It's just part of she is being taught it. But if you understand what I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it's just so ingrained into what they're doing. The learning is kind of hidden because it's made in such a fun way, and it's an easy concept for her to understand. It also comes with part whole mat, so adding and subtracting, we use this for, and practicing writing. And also, they also have a spelling chant chart, which helps them learn how to spell the different numbers, which is really great. They enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun. So that is our math. That's how we've been doing our kindergarten math for this second half of the school year. What we did the first half of the school year, I just pieced together some things, made sure they understood shapes and sorting and all of those things, and they were ready to move on. Because they're so close in age, they're only a year apart, they were basically learning very close the same kind of math. My son, who's a little bit older, was a little bit faster in picking things up and moving forward. But my daughter, she's right behind him, and this, the good and the beautiful math, is really helping make sure of that. Now, real quick, before I end, we do also teach a language and Bible to the kids. So for Bible this year, we didn't do a specific unit or study. I've just been doing daily devotions and daily Bible stories with them, and then we just discuss it. And our church also will send resources to my email about what they're learning in church, and I just print it out and we talk about it, go over the main points of what they're learning in their series at church. So we're just continually on a regular basis speaking about God, speaking about God's Word, reading God's Word, and that works for us for this year for kindergarten. I do plan on going into more in-depth kind of Bible studies with them, maybe fruit of the Spirit things, cute things like that. We did do the armor of God. I forgot about that one. Putting on the full armor of God. They know that. We do a prayer for that every day. They really enjoy doing that. There's a cute book called Will, God's Mighty Warrior. You can get that on Amazon, and we read that. That goes along with the Armor of God series, which is really easy. I just found free resources on Pinterest to go along with our Armor of God stuff. We did art stuff to go along with that. Now, for the language. Excuse me. My husband, he speaks German fluently, and so we decided, also we have German family. His family is German. So we wanted to make sure that the kids were able to communicate with their cousins and family, so we started German as their second language. My husband, when he's home, he will spend time reading German books to them, speaking to them in German flashcards, everything to help them start to get comfortable in that. And I also have family that speaks Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish, so we decided to go with German first because it's the closer second language, but I do want to eventually start teaching them Spanish as well. If you don't have family that speaks any second language, that's fine. It doesn't mean you can't teach your child a second language. There are tons of resources out there for them to learn and do a second language. Amazon has Little Pim. It's a children's learning video for different languages. It has German, it has French, it has Spanish, and they just go through and say, this is bread, this is a plate in different languages. So that's another great way for them to start that. All right, so that was our kindergarten year in review. I hope it helps you figure out what you want to do for your year for kindergarten, and good luck.